Hi, welcome again. In this lesson, we talk about the basic data types in Python. According to the Python data model reference, objects are Python's notions for data. All data in a Python program is represented by objects or by relations between objects. So here we can see the basic data types in Python. So here I am going to describe these basic data types in brief, but we will be explaining all these basic data types in detail in separate sections. Okay, so let us talk about the basic data types here in brief. First one is none, means nothing. It is also known as the singleton null object. And the second basic data type is Boolean. Boolean is nothing but a data type which represents whether it is true or false. So these are called as an Boolean expressions. You might have heard the word Boolean while studying the basic things in engineering or in PUC level. Next we have an integer. So 0, +1, -1. So these are the examples of an integer. Next we have an long. So long will be represented by using the capital L letter. So if we have very long number in our data, it will be represented using the capital L letter. Next we have float. Floating point numbers are nothing but the numbers which have the numbers after the decimal point. So here you can see the decimal point and the numbers. Infinity or infinite number is also an floating point number. So we represent infinite number using float, and inside the parenthesis we write infinite. Just INF, infinite. This is for negative infinite. And none. None also belongs to an type float. So none means not a number. Next we have complex number. Complex numbers are represented using the real and imaginary numbers. You know this very well. So here the first character is nothing but real plus then the imaginary number. J is used to indicate the imaginary number. Next we have string. So strings are represented inside the single quote, double quote or triple quote. So we have seen how to represent the strings in our previous lesson. So here there are special type of strings are there. They are nothing but raw string, ASCII string and Unicode strings. So these are represented by the unique characters like R, B and U respectively. So we talk about these strings later in our course in detail. Next we have tuple. So we write empty tuple using the empty parenthesis, and a real tuple using the parenthesis and writing the elements inside the parenthesis. Next we have list. Lists are represented using the square brackets. Empty list is represented using an empty square bracket. Tuples are immutable list or unalterable list, whereas lists are nothing but the mutable elements, or we can also say that it is an alterable list of elements. So tuples are immutable, whereas lists are mutable. So we see how tuples differ from lists in data structures section separately. Next we have set. Set is nothing but a collection of the elements. So empty set is represented using the parenthesis followed by the set, and the real set is represented, or we can say that actual set or non-empty set using the set and then the parenthesis and writing a set of elements inside the parenthesis. Next we have dictionary. Dictionaries will store the elements in the form of key and word. So keys are represented left side and words are represented the right side, followed by the colon. So empty dictionary is represented using the empty curly brackets, and the real dictionary or non-empty dictionary is written inside the curly brackets with the key and words pair. So these sets and dictionaries are also a type of mutable objects. So sets can be mutable and dictionaries can be mutable. Alternative word for the mutable is nothing but alterable. Means once we execute the data types list, set and dictionaries, we can mute or change the values at a particular indices. So we talk about these indices and how to change the values of the list, set and dictionary later in the section in detail. And finally we have file. File is nothing but a type of the file which consists of text or image file or a file of type video, so whatever it may be. So files can be of different types. The text files are read in the form of binary using this command open and then the file name and then how to read. In the form of binary we use the code RB. This is the simple explanation about the data types, but we talk about these data types in detail in the coming sections. So before we talk about these data types in detail, let us do some practical work to know how these data types works in Python. So once you know the data types and how they work practically, you will get some confidence to go further. Okay, let us do the practical work. Non is equal to none. So none should be written with the capital letter. Let us see. So this is the correct word. Okay. Next we have boolean. See, if I write just bool, it indicates the boolean data type. Inside that, you can write 2 and execute. To know the type of the data type, we can use the command type. We have already seen this. So none is a variable I have created and I have assigned a value none, the actual value none. And if I type the value of the none, means the variable it is of type non-type. Next, let us see the type of boolean, what we have written. So it belongs to the type boolean. Next we have integer 1, for example 10. Then if I type integer and see, so it belongs to the type int. Next we have lang. Just write 1.2345 and type the type of the lang. So here you can see it belongs to the type float. So infinite floats are written using float, and inside that we need to write infinite for positive infinite. Let us type infinite underscore float. So you can see infinite number belongs to the type float. Similarly, we can write negative float. Using negative infinite. So here I have overwritten the infinite float with the negative infinite float. You can observe here. Okay. So it also belongs to the type float. Next we have complex number. Let us write the complex numbers. So this, if you write complex, then it means that it is of type complex. But I want change this complex built-in data type to make it as an variable. So listen the word carefully, variable or identifier. Complex number is equal to 2 plus, let us say 6j. So now it is a complex number. Let's change the type. So it belongs to the type complex. So we have already seen how to write the strings. So let us write the string inside the triple quote. This is also a string within triple quotes. So here you can see this belongs to the type string. Next we have list. So lists are represented using the list command, but I want to edit the list, so I will change the first letter to an capital letter. So remember that we cannot directly use the data types names as it is as variable names or identifiers. So we need to change the variable, we need to change the characters of data types to make them as variables or identifiers. So lists are written inside the square bracket. Let us write some elements 1 through machine learning Python. So let us see the type of the list, what it results. So it belongs to the type list. Next we have tuple. So if I use small letter, it is of type tuple. Okay, tuple data type. I cannot use directly this tuple as an variable, so I will change this small t to capital T. Sorry. Okay. Tuples are represented inside this parenthesis. Let us write once again the same elements what we have written inside the list. Let's see the type of this tuple. Oh, it belongs to the type tuple. Next we have set. Look at here. If I just write set with a small letter, it is of type data type set. But I want to change it to an variable, so I will write capital S. Now it became variable. Set, and then a sequence of elements or a set of elements. Let us write 1 2 3 4 5 6. Next I will write 5 4 3 4 1 to check what happens if I type the multiple elements of same kind, or you can say that repeatable elements. For example, here 1 is repeated, 2 is not repeated, 3 is repeated, 4 is repeated, 5 is repeated, 6 is not repeated. So I have used repeated numbers 1 3 4 and then 5. Let us see what happens if I execute and call this set. So look at here, repeated numbers have been displayed only once, means it will keep the repeated numbers only once in a set. So set is nothing but a collection of elements and without any repeated words or repeated items or repeated elements. So whenever you want to know what are the unique elements present inside the data type, we use sets. So sets will omit the multiple repeated elements. It will only keep the unique elements. So this is the advantage of set. Next we have dictionary. So how to change how to mute the elements of tuples, lists, sets, dictionaries, etc. etc. As I told you earlier that we will be talking about these data types in detail in separate sections. Don't worry about that. Let us move on to the last data type, that is dictionary. It represents using dictionary. So dictionary is represented using DICT, stands for dictionary, but I want this to be an variable, so let us write full one. So now it is nothing but a variable. Dictionaries are represented inside the curly bracket and with key, say for example 1. What is the integer value of 1? So this is the 1. 1 is in word, whereas this one is in number format. Let us enter the another one, 2. This is in word and this is in number. Similarly, true, this is in the form of string and this is the actual value. So key and then value, key and then value, key and then the value. Let us close the curly bracket and execute this. If I type of the dictionary to see what is it, so we got the type dictionary. Let us extract the keys and values using the index method. Okay. Dictionary. In order to extract individual element, we use the square bracket. Let us extract the 0th element. Oh my god, we got an error. 0th element. So here also we got an error. So we can extract the dictionary keys using the command dictionary dot keys. Okay. So here the dictionary is nothing but our created dictionary. So here we got the dictionary keys. So we cannot use this square bracket to index the dictionary elements because it consists of keys and values, whereas we can extract the individual elements of the list tuples using this index method. So for example, tuple first element. So look at here, we got the first element of the tuple, that is 1. Similarly the second element by replacing the second index. So we got the second element as true, which is inside the tuple. We talk about this index method, how exactly the index method works for different data types later in this section without fail. Okay, so here I shown intentionally for square bracket, so just to make sure that index for different objects or different data types varies as per the type of the data type. Here if we observe the dictionary, it has keys and values, so we cannot use the index method with a square bracket. Okay, and finally if I look at the values of the dictionary using values statement, so here we got the values of dictionary 1, 2 and then true. So if you look at the dictionary here, value is 1, key is 1. For second key the value is 2, and for the third key, that is true, it is a string key, and the value is the boolean expression true. So we talk about these data types in detail in the coming sections. So one data type I forgot to explain is the file, but we talk about the files in file handling section separately in detail. So thanks for watching this. See you inside the next lesson.